"2020 marks the 20th anniversary of the founding of Softwire. 20 years doesn't seem like such a long time, but when we look back, we've seen a lot of changes over the years. It seems hard to believe that we've just recovered from the millennium-induced panic of the Y2K bug, as we called it then, the sudden concern that all of our technology, including missile guidance systems, would suddenly fail because of a 2-digit date system. Back then, we lived in fear that 99 would click over into 00 and suddenly all of our missiles would be fired. They weren't. Back in 2000, you felt pretty smart and up to date if you had a mobile phone. It was the year that I graduated from university and I finally caved into getting one. The choices were pretty limited, so I customised my Nokia 3210 with a sparkly pink case, so I didn't look like everyone else. Softwire was started at the turn of the millennium by 3 ex-software developers who'd been working on telephony systems. They founded Softwire on 3 principles: happy teams, happy clients, and commercial success. They recruited some graduates, including me, and they set out to make Softwire a great place to work so that people would stay. I'm still here 20 years later and working as the MD, so it worked. The founders are still here too. They built a company where they were in it for the long haul. Over the last 20 years, we've proved to our clients that we're a company with integrity that's stable and trustworthy. When we started, there was a limit to the size of projects that we could take on. We only had 6 developers. Now we've grown to a team of over 100 developers and we work for some of the UK's largest organisations: the BBC, David Lloyd Leisure Groups, LNER and the UK government. Technology has changed since Softwire started 20 years ago. When I was working as a coder, I used a rather clunky language called ASP, Microsoft's initial offering that used VBScript as the main coding language. It was, of course, eventually replaced by the much more successful .NET. I learnt and discarded a few other archaic languages: C, C++, XML, and XSL. I can't even remember what XSL stands for. I think it was maybe Extensible Style Language? Nowadays, we use lovely functional languages like Scala and client-side JavaScript frameworks like React. We have automatically scalable architecture, no more commissioning a server at the last minute, as well as containers and microservices. Weirdly, Python, which I remember as the weird command line language that no one used, has become all mainstream and we even teach it to children. Software development methodologies have changed as well, the big one being the switchover from waterfall to agile. Back in the 60s, software was developed from a tightly defined specification, which then cascaded over into the development period, like a waterfall. It doesn't sound like that bad an idea, does it, to define what you want to build before you build it? But by the year 2000, programmers were starting to notice that the specification quickly became out of date, as needs changed more quickly than software could be developed. In 2001, the Agile Manifesto was published, prioritising working software over comprehensive documentation and responding to change over following a plan. This became mainstream over the next 5 years, and Softwire have since adopted elements of other flexible development methodologies, including Scrum, Lean, and Kanban. Finally, our services have changed. When we started Softwire, we worked mostly on hard engineering problems. That was our specialism. Nowadays, we work across the whole software development lifecycle. We employ not just engineers, but also product managers, product owners, business analysts, and designers. We find and shape business problems with our consultancy team, and we validate and design products with our labs design and UX team. We can't wait to see where our journey is going to take us over the next 20 years. Helping to train the next generation of software developers with our Softwire Academy, and helping our clients to build smarter solutions using machine learning and artificial intelligence are just 2 of the areas that are on our roadmap. See you in another 20 years.